I am Sean Leonard from Philosophy003, and this is my third YouTube assignment. This assignment's article from the February 21st issue of the New York Times deals with the connection between an intelligent immigrant with a troubled past and a compassionate judge who made a promise to that delinquent. In 1996, young King Hong Wu was prosecuted from a string of muggings in Manhattan's Chinatown. However, the judge, Michael Corriero, implored Mr. Wu to use his sentence of 3 to 9 years in reform to improve himself and his outlook on life, promising to stand behind him if he made these efforts. Mr. Wu heeded his advice, earning an early release from the reformatory due to his excellent behavior, and then achieving a lofty position at a national technology company to support his mother. Eventually, Mr. Wu's past stay in reform was discovered by a band of immigrant authorities, and the newfound knowledge caused them to lock up Mr. Wu as a criminal alien with the intention of deporting him to China. Judge Corriero soon learned of this dilemma and decided to keep his promise to the immigrant by writing a letter pleading for Mr. Wu to be pardoned. Mr. Wu has earned a second chance, wrote Corriero. He should have the opportunity to remain in this country. In many ways, this article contains similar characteristics to two recently assigned readings from the Philosophy003 textbook. The first one, Zarathustra's Prologue in Three Speeches by Friedrich Nietzsche, tells the story of an ancient Persian priest named Zarathustra, who planned to share his new knowledge gained from 10 years of isolation and philosophical reflection. I consider the episode involving the rope dancer and the buffoon during Zarathustra's town visit to be comparable to Mr. Wu's situation with the immigrant authorities. Aided by the wisdom of Judge Corriero, Mr. Wu was able to become a productive member of society that had the power to live life by his calling of hard work and good deeds, just as the dancer lived by his calling of danger. On the other hand, the immigrant authorities represented the buffoon in the story, tearing down Mr. Wu's improved life with their misguided actions just as the buffoon caused the dancer to perish. The judge, in this situation, symbolized Zarathustra during the rope dancer's dying moments and his decision to honor the fallen man with the proper burial, recognizing the dancer's death as won by his own life calling. Judge Corriero realized Mr. Wu's dilemma as an unfortunate side effect of following his calling, and for that he tried to honor him by keeping his earlier promise. The second reading, Existentialism as a Humanism by Jean-Paul Sartre, deals with the concept of existentialism and notions of radical freedom and responsibility. According to Sartre, humans are constantly trying to transcend themselves and formulate self-identities, being condemned to be free and only having themselves to blame for their actions. The New York Times article presents a brief description of Mr. Wu's rough childhood, emphasizing Mr. Wu's tendency to stay out of trouble in his early years and a shift towards antagonistic behavior as his exposure to violence increased. These descriptions showcase the argument of radical freedom in humans. Early on in Mr. Wu's childhood, it was his choice to stay out of trouble, and according to the burden of anguish, his disposition was likely one that he modeled for others. However, Mr. Wu's experiences with bullies and protective friends caused him to model himself after these violent beings, as he possessed the radical freedom necessary to make this change. Through the court case, Mr. Wu was able to realize how responsible he was for his actions, encouraging him to again alter his disposition by using Judge Corriero as a blueprint for himself.